Okay, today we have the honor of having Syed Saddiq, who is a member of the House of Representatives in Malaysia. But today he is here in our pain cave in the capacity of being a rookie Ironman finisher. Woo. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So this will be your first Ironman. So what is your target for tomorrow?
To finish in peace, that's a priority.
And what is your secret target?
My secret target, hopefully sub 15, sub 14. Yeah.
Very good. So I've seen you being quite active this year with a lot of. I think the first I saw you were doing like these Viper Spartan obstacle races.
Yes.
And then you have done a lot of run events, including ultras, triathlons. But what is your sporting background like before this year?
Oh, I had no sporting background.
Oh,
I mean, if anything, previously I was asthmatic. Maybe my sporting background was being in the Royal Military College.
okay, yeah.
But even when I was in RMC,
Yeah.
I was often the one who would get bullied.
Really?
Because I had a very weak sporting background. So while many people pick up different sports, rugby, football, but for myself it's debating and public speaking.
Yeah.
So very different. So I'll be the one who often gets bullied. I did a little bit of hockey and water polo, but even while I did water polo, it was being trashed. I remember then by VI 20-0, 21. Like, it's not even close.
Okay.
And it's just like to fill up the quota, to join. But I truly wanted to challenge myself, and it started early this year.
Yeah.
Late last year, I did like my first obstacle challenge, which is Spartan's 10 kilometer plus 25 obstacles category.
Yeah.
Which I felt like dying after. I was like one of almost the last ones like at the back. And I said, I mean, I do not like being in that physical state and mental state as well. So I thought, okay, this year let's try do something.
Yeah.
But I always need to have something to look forward to. Then I thought, okay, let's try do something crazy.
Yeah.
Which is obviously to register for the Ironman.
Yeah.
So while I did that, that's when early this year I joined my first swimming class, which was in February, and then started packing my schedule with as many competitions, races, group events in between. But it doesn't only have to be triathlon. So that's why I did Viper, obstacle challenge, running challenges. But in a way, just to ensure that at least I have that minimal physical base to attempt my first Ironman.
Right.
Yeah.
So this idea of Ironman, it was born like early this year. I know that you bought a TT bike, which is kind of like the first real commitment. Right?
Yep. I vividly remember that because I panicked. I didn't know how expensive Ironman was.
Yeah.
I thought this was what I thought. Again, mind you, this is a rookie's mindset, right? I thought when I registered, looking at the price, it's like, and in US dollars, and in Malaysia, rarely you pay in US dollars. That's why I thought, because it's a triathlon, so you only have to come there, they'll give you all like swimming suit, and then everyone will get the same bike, there'll be bikes there.
Okay.
And then maybe we just have to bring our running shoes, because in my mind, again, this is coming from a very rookie background.
Yeah.
But then that's where like my friends are telling me, no, you need to have your own bike. So I'm like, what bike? It's your TT bike. So I just went online, looking for TT bike. I was like, oh my God, the price is like, I almost had a mini heart attack, But this is where I consider myself very privileged. The Malaysian triathlon community, while being very small, but they are so helpful. So I literally just like went through a few friends saying, hey, does anyone want to sell their TT bike? And then a friend in my swimming group was like, okay, he wants to sell like his third or fourth bike, which is a really old one. But I said, never mind, I need my first TT bike. And immediately when I got it, and he was very kind, he didn't expect me to pay first. So it's just like, okay, I'll give it to you to try first. Only after 3 to 4 months, then I said, okay, I definitely need to buy this. And he sold me second hand without the tires. So I took my old bike tires, fit it on the TT bike. But as long as there was a TT bike, I'm good to go. So I really have to thank the community actually.
Yeah. No, that's really nice, and I think especially for a TT bike, it's very personal. If you fit the bike or the bike fits you. So
Exactly.
really nice. You could try it first.
Yeah.
Okay, so because I saw on your Instagram that you started like teasing this idea, should I do Ironman or not? But I know that when you do this, probably you already decided something in your head, right? Even though you don't say publicly. So very interesting. Yeah, and then you mentioned like when you started thinking about this, you signed up for a swim class.
Yes.
And you were thinking about how do I meet like the base requirement
Yes.
to do an Ironman.
Yeah.
How any other thoughts, like how did you plan your training? Were there anything you specifically thought was your weakness you had to try to focus on, or what was your approach?
At that point in time, I mean, to be very honest, my aim was literally just to survive, you know.
Yeah.
So I had like the 17 hours in my mind.
Yeah.
And let's try to complete it. And obviously, I don't know whether this is a Malaysian thing. People say usually in Ironman you need to panic at the run or at the bike, but I couldn't swim.
Okay,
How do I survive? And I vividly remember during my first swim, I could barely complete 50 meters.
Yeah.
And I was panicking, you know. And I remember after like 2 or 3 classes, finally I got like, then I was using my Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And I think I posted it up because Sir Chan, my super senior in military college, commented, like, okay, you need to go for proper swimming classes. Because when I posted it, I thought it was, wow, I'm fast.
Yeah.
Which is like 4 minutes and a half for 100 meters. I thought, wow, I'm fast, you know. And then I was like, oh, I think you need to go for swimming class. And then he recommended a few people I need to speak to.
Yeah.
And really it's by random chance that one of my cycling buddies was like, hey, you should meet up with my officer who does Ironman. So this lady, wonderful lady called Janice, just arrange a random tea session, and after that, she said, hey, you should join this swimming class. Just start, you know. And then one thing led to another. So I started going for 2-3 classes, swimming class a week.
Yep.
Obviously, until today, literally just this morning, I'm starting to attempt to transition to freestyle.
Okay, so you didn't.
All this while is always breaststroke.
Wow.
So I think my group, I'm the only one like doing full breaststroke. It's not that I'm good at breaststroke. It's just that I'm horrible at everything else. So I have no choice.
Yeah.
So even today, I mean, I was trying to do 50 meters for freestyle.
Yeah.
Today, mind you, even after completing the Ironman, I struggled. So I was like, what's wrong with me? I keep on my legs, keep on sinking.
Yeah.
But because I think I was too comfortable doing breaststroke before. So at that point in time, it's just about aiming to build that base. And I started running 5 kilometers, and then transitioning to 10. But one thing which I have is that I try my best to fill up as many mini competitions between. I remember after 2 weeks of my swim class, one thing I'm quite daring. So immediately I registered for the sprint triathlon in Putrajaya.
Right.
Yeah. And also after 2 weeks, I've never done open water. I remember the longest swim I did then was only about 150 meters.
Yeah.
And for the sprint triathlon, was 750 meters of swimming.
Yes.
In Putrajaya Lake. At that time, I didn't know how. Okay, I'm not gonna say bad things about Putrajaya Lake, but people get the point.
Yeah.
So I was not thinking much about the bike and the run after. I just thought, oh my god, if I can do this 750 meters, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
And I just tried. I mean, and I knew when I finished the swim, I thought, wow, I can do this, you know. So that's why I realized maybe it's just a mental blockade in my mind, or that fear of the water, fear of cycling. I mean, what's in my mind, I was thinking, what's the worst thing which can happen? I mean, okay, obviously, worst thing can be very dangerous things in the water, but there were so many people, so I thought it will be okay.
Yeah.
And worst case, I'll just fail, you know. I mean, I will not be able to complete it, and then comes the next one.
Yeah.
So all the trainings were just planned in between. I remember after that, I got a little bit too confident. Then like 2 weeks after that sprint triathlon, I joined my first half distance, which was a Challenger, Challenge Forest City.
Yes.
So it's just like joined. I was remarkably slow, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when I realized, hey, I have something to always look forward to. Then I filled up my weekends with many mini competitions in which will prepare me.
Yeah. Did you have like any coach or any people helping you like build a training plan, or did you download or see anything online, or you just like went by your gut?
No, okay, obviously do not follow the gut, because my gut obviously doesn't know anything. This is why I consider myself very privileged.
Yeah.
But this is why I say I think it's great to try something new in Malaysia because of the community.
Yeah.
I didn't have because all my friends previously did things differently. That's they run only, or they cycle. I mean, swimming I don't know much because I was starting from zero. But I remember through my first cycling, like with friends, with Janice and the group, it wasn't like a proper group. I just joined, right? I remember then I suffered. I really pity her, but just to show how nice the community is, right? Like I was so slow. I think I was only cycling 21, 22 kilometers every hour. and she would wait for me in front, and again, elsewhere, where we have a friend, and this is, mind you, someone who I just met like for 1 month.
Yeah.
And then over there, after that, we had our mamak session. I think that's why, I don't know, the first time we met then, the mamak, in Inshallah. And I said, oh, there's this group, and then this RMC group who's also into Ironman. I said, really? And then from there, they say, hey, you should join one of the session. And Sir Ramzu, my senior, say, join this KLA session. That was my first time doing more than 50 kilometers. 50, 60 kilometers. And again, I was really slow, but they were kind enough, they broke it up into 2 groups. I think Kak and also Kak Ipoh Madi. Both of them were just waiting for me, giving word of support, because I was so slow. But I mean, it starts there, right? I mean, so that's when I realized, okay, they were telling me, oh, you need to do your bike fitting, then you have to train a lot more. But it really started then. And that's why I say I'm quite privileged, because I think the friends, community around were remarkably kind to guide me, and they just keep on inviting every weekend. And then for my running group, it's just like a few friends came together. Swimming at that time was quite structured already, because I joined a particular class. So actually it's really about friends. And again, my aim is not to be, obviously I'm so far away to be great, but then was to finish. And it's so much better when you cycle, run, swim with a group of friends. And the friend doesn't have to be like friends you've met up with like years. Even new friends, the point is, it's so much better to be in a team or a group, because it makes the experience worth it and fun.
I think it's a very good point, and I think the good thing in terms of triathlon is that all of us have started where you started from. Very few come in and are already good at three things. So I think maybe that's why people are very kind and sharing, because they know that was them like X years ago. Very good. So seeking out groups and signing up for competitions. Where did you see your biggest improvements like throughout the year? Swim, bike, or run?
Definitely run. I remember, because running is the easiest thing to do on your own. Because of the bike, oh my god, it's so boring to go on your own, and also it's quite scary. Like, I didn't know the route, and now there's a joke that I'm like YB young Sesat, like, because I keep on getting lost.
Okay.
All the time. So going on your own is the worst thing ever. So I always go in a group. But I can see the biggest improvement in my run, because I remember I did do 1 half marathon before last year. And I remember then I felt over the moon when I could do 2 hours and 40 minutes for a half marathon. I felt I was the boss. That I didn't know about this, sub 2, sub this. I thought you do 240, you are good, So I remember, and I was looking back at my posting when I did. I said, wow, it's like I felt like I'm over the moon, But at least I knew my base then. And now today I can do 140, 143. But I think there's a huge improvement. I think that improvement is because running is easy. You literally have to buy shoes, and I can just run around my house, and I can listen to my podcast, Economist audio magazine, and I can just be in my zone for like 2 hours straight. And so I think that's where the most improvement happened. Swimming is obviously the other, because it's zero base, right? I didn't know how much of a good swimmer I can be. So I think these two. Cycling, I'm still quite bad, so I'm learning to be better.
All right. How much do you think you train, like on an average a week?
Training I can be quite disciplined. I think this again from military college before. When I realized how further back I was, I have to build that stamina, especially that strength base. I remember when I joined Challenge Malaysia, I think I overestimated myself. I remember by the time I moved to the bike, 40, 50 kilometers, I felt like my legs were failing me. When I moved on the run, it's just me being in zombie mode, pushing myself. But like I knew that I had no strength, no strength whatsoever. So after that, I started to panic, and I put in then about 10 to 12 hours a week. And I was quite disciplined to follow. So that's where 3 swimming classes, or minimum 2 a week. And then cycling every weekend, or I'll try to put in one or 2 indoor trainers. And then running, I do almost every day. But I think my secret training, and up until today, which I think has made me improve a lot, is my so-called secret strength training. It's not secret.
Okay.
He said, and now I have a coach who helps come up with a plan. But
Right.
the coach was saying, you don't follow the plan because you keep on doing strength training every day. I said, but coach, that's the only way how I can. It's something which I can do even at work, which is it's not the strength training in a gym. I integrate my work with my strength training. So, for an example, my work requires me to read and research a lot. So now instead of me sitting idly, so every week, for example, I need to read the Age Weekly, which is like very important for me, and I'll take about 2 hours to complete. Instead of sitting down for that 2 hours, I'll have a standing table, but I will not just use the standing table. I'll do non-stop calf raises, one leg squat, left, right, full squat for the whole 2 hours non-stop.
Wow.
And I remember when I first did it, I couldn't last for 5 minutes, and now I can last for 2 hours. And until today, for an example, when I go down to Muar, which is my constituency every week, to drive down to Muar is 2 hours. I realized, if you just sit down, you don't get much.
Yeah.
So I listen to my podcast, but now, because my friend will be driving, so I'll just like raise my left leg non-stop for like this side for like 30 minutes and then 30 minutes, and I just keep on changing. In Parliament, wherever I go, so my back is intentionally heavy.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I tell people make fun of me when they see me when I walk in Parliament, because they'll see me use my back as my dumbbell. But that's how I can, the point wherever I am, I'll try my best to put in enough hours to build that strength. Because I remember the moment when I was doing my triathlon in Forest City, at the run, I remember my heart rate was low, but my legs were failing me.
Yeah.
And now it's the opposite. Now my heart is failing me, but my legs are still fresh.
Yeah.
So I think, no matter how busy we are, just find a way to integrate it all together. One other secret which I do is, now I will only allow myself to watch documentaries or to binge watch TV series is that if I'm on the trainer.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because if not, back then, you'll just, before you go to bed, while you're eating, you're idle. So now it's like, no, in order for me to enjoy, all my shows, where there's the Game of Thrones, and now there's so many, the Diplomat new series is out. It's like, I need to be on the bike using my trainer. So it's these small ways of integrating things together.
Very impressive. I mean, we always say, people, I'm sure they have asked you too, right? How can you do an Ironman? How can you prepare for this? But really, I think it's true that if there's a will, there is a way. Like, you find ways to be
that's my
efficient.
favorite quote. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so like you mentioned, I think the first time I met you was at this 100-kilometer ride we did in around the airport.
Yes. That was Kelai.
Yes.
That was my first. I remember how happy I was.
And I didn't know you then. Like I don't, now I sound like an idiot, but I don't really follow Malaysian politics very much. So the training was as normal. Yeah. But then afterwards, of course, when I saw you at events or other trainings, I realized you were getting a lot of attention. Surely people recognized you. How has that been? Has it like affected you anyway? Like, when you train, people recognize you, want to take pictures or have a chat. Yeah. Or same in races. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? On the one hand, you train, you're in your zone.
Yes.
And I feel remarkable. For example, yesterday I was running for 10K, and it's just in my zone because it wasn't like a low-pace run. I was going quite fast. Yeah. I felt remarkably bad when people try to stop me to take photos, but I was just like running. Yeah. And whenever they text me after, I'll immediately just apologize. Yeah. Because you understand, when you run, especially at a certain pace, you just zone out and you enter zombie mode. Yeah. The worry then, people think, but you're very arrogant. Why don't you do this? So that part I have to find a way to do. So now I have a way which is, I just usually just like quickly raise my hand, or I just do this. Yeah. But then I continue. Yeah. And I apologize after if I were to know them. But on the other hand, I think at least in the smallest of ways, if I'm able to inspire one or two people who previously did not do active sports, but now to take it up, I think that's a bigger success, because it is my duty to ensure that fellow Malaysians take up a healthy lifestyle, and also to show that literally anyone with the right willpower and discipline can also take up this sport. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that part is something which I feel it is a duty of mine to share.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, like I said, so I am I would say 50-50 introvert, extrovert. So my wife is more extrovert. So when I saw this, like I recognize what you said, that, you know, when I'm training, or especially when I'm racing, like all your energy goes into moving forward. There's very little extra left to smile and, you know. So I was wondering how that would affect when people surely recognize you and you feel like you should say hi. But okay, so you went on then to have a very busy race schedule. Like you said, you just signed up for things to help motivate you in training and prepare you. I'll read through event by event, and maybe you can give me like one sentence what you remember or what you learned, or what's the first thing that comes to mind.
Sure.
So we start with the 3rd March, Forest City. You did 6:47. Half Ironman distance.
I felt like dying after. I started to question my decision in taking up the sport. That was during the race, especially when you were on the run. And you just zone out, and that's where I entered my zombie mode. But I remember one day after, I'm like, oh, I have to work a lot harder. And that's where I realized that I get very competitive. Because I was like, I thought I did a decent timing. But I see, I'm like behind like so many people. You know, I saw people, but this is the beauty of the sport, right? Just because you're lean doesn't mean that you'll be fast.
True.
I saw people who are like at least 30, 40 kilograms more than me, but way faster. Especially swimming, I think they were like 15 minutes ahead of me, maybe 20 minutes ahead of me. You know, on the bike, they were way faster. I'm like, what is wrong? I mean, in my mind, I was starting to question myself, you know, and the life fundamentals. On the run, I was like, during the final lap, I think the final turn, I think it's just about two kilometers before the end, like, I got overtaken. I was like, what is wrong? So the competitive side kicked in. But it also made me realize that in the end, I'm truly inspired, actually, and some of them are not my close friends. I mean, these are people who are much older than me. I mean, who are 50, 60 plus. Or those who are, I mean, in terms of their weight category, they're like 20, 30, 40 kilograms heavier than me. But they are so disciplined. They put in the time, effort, their willpower is strong. And to me, they are a greater inspiration for me than the pro athletes. Not because I know I can never reach that level, but these are people with their own professional lives, who are mothers. Some of them are grandmothers, with a full day job, but yet put in the hours, discipline, have the willpower and the physique to push through. I think that's just inspirational.
100% agree with you. Okay, then next event, 9 March, UITM Ultra 50K. 7:42.
That's the one where I think I regretted the most, because it was 1 week after challenge. And in my mind, I thought, oh, my body doesn't need 1 week to recover. I just joined for the sake of it. I didn't know that Ultra had a lot of elevation. I thought it was just like a marathon, but plus another 10, 20 kilometers. Oh my God, I remember going this bukit called Bukit Tonggate. You have to go through 10 times. Oh my God, until today. I remember I started to realize that it was so painful. I thought quitting and just DNF. But never mind, you just walk. And I walk. I walk like a lot. But that was actually one of the biggest trigger points for me to do strength training every day. Because my heart rate was low all the time, but my legs just failed completely.
I'm starting to see a little bit of a common denominator here, that you don't really know much about the races.
That's true.
But okay. That's
true. That's very true.
19 May, Ironman 70.3 Desaru, 7:15.
That was where I thought that what's happening to my life, because it was also half distance. How can I train for 2-3 months and then I get slower? I was in my mind, what is going on, right? And as you start to question everything you're training, or maybe I'm just that weak, you know, maybe I can actually get worse instead of getting better. But one thing, a quote which I believe in, you have to learn, to win, you have to learn how to lose. I think Usain Bolt shared that, which is true. That's where I start to diagnose, why was I so slow? I realized, my swim was faster by 5 to 10 minutes, which is huge for me.
Yes.
But on the bike, I was like gone. I got penalty, I think twice. I didn't know all this gloves. I don't know the rules. Okay, never mind. I should know. It's my fault. I take full responsibility. And then on the run, it was the worst because only then I was starting to learn about this. You have to have this proper nutrition. So I overconsumed on the bike. So I got off the bike, I could barely breathe. So first 5 kilometers, I was walking. And I love running. But that was where I was slowest. And then I remember it was just a really bad prep for me because the night before I was in Singapore. I only got back at 2 a.m. in the morning. I only slept for 4 hours. But all of this to me is just, in the end, it is my mistake. Right? I think I thought I would be able to do well despite all the things happening around me. But you don't take Ironman as a joke. So that taught me to prepare for full Ironman properly. Free up that week before, train properly, do not panic, don't do last minute decisions. All
right. Okay, then 22nd June, Powerman, 3:53. Which I think is pretty good. How was that?
I enjoyed it. I mean, that was where I think I learned from Desaru. You have to get 8 hours of sleep the night before, which I did. I cleared up my schedule the night before. I think my bike got slightly better because I think I did a little bit of bike fitting then, so I felt a lot more comfortable. I was quite shocked then that during the first 10 km run, I could run quite decently. So I truly enjoyed it, and there was no swimming. Where I'm weakest at.
Okay, then we go to June, and this wasn't a race per se, but you organized yourself like a charity run, 200k. How was that?
In the end, it became about 160 to 170k, which is from my constituency in Muar to Parliament, broken down into 4 days. 4 days. There was also a point where I realized that it's not about my heart, it's about my strength. After the first day, I remember I did about 60 kilometers. I still felt fresh, and my heart rate was low because it was only at a pace of like 8:30. So it's very slow, but constant. But the next day when I woke up, oh my God, it's not cramps, but like you feel that your legs are breaking down, And then even doing like 10 km, I had to stop. But the good thing is I have my own free time, I can stop whenever I want. So I started doing like ice baths like 2 times a day. I bought like the ice from 7-Eleven, bought the kiddie pool, put it in, and I was like, okay. And then I took medication, this pain relaxing or something, so that the muscle cramps will not be that bad. But that really prepared me for Ironman. That's one. But secondly, I think the reason I have greater willpower to do it because it also involves my work. So it's a combination of both. I know this is a part of my job to bring awareness of the problems in my constituency, and above and beyond that, I think there's a +1. That's why I can prepare to build a strong base. And I remember my biggest VO2 max gain happened after that.
Oh, okay.
I think I had a gain of like 4 VO2 max, like 4 points, which is quite big. Usually it's only 0.1, 0.4. And after that, we just went up, I think because of the distance in a very short time span. And I lost like 2.5 kilograms, which is a lot for me.
Interesting. During that event also, there was a bit of like online backlash because you had said 200 and then it turned out to be 160, 170. Did that surprise you a bit, like how upset some people seem to be about these things?
I think the upset is legitimate because again, what many people didn't know is that that event was planned super last minute. I mean, just a little bit of context was 1 week before the event, I realized that in my constituency account, my parliament's account, I only got 4,000 ringgit and I have to service my constituency for the next year. And I can't even pay my staff for the following month. So if you look at it, it's like you don't have like medical staff following, or even like anyone who has done an ultra marathon following. It's just me and 3 of my office staff who have never run more than 5 km. That's why they're on the motorbike all the time. So we don't know all this. Oh, watch, you need to track, you need to upload this way. Zero. Even the route was very last minute. So the reason why it became slightly shorter, I remember, was in the Negeri Sembilan route before you reach Seremban. There's obviously we didn't take the highway because we cannot take the highway. The police told us we couldn't. But even the back route, that's where all the big lorries were at, and there was no emergency lane. So literally, you were running next to the lorry, which is very much unsafe, and no one runs there. No one even cycles there. So the police said, no, cannot. We have to bring you in front. And also, I think the last day when I wanted to run to Parliament, it was already working day. You cannot do this, so you have to start from KLCC instead. So obviously, you have to coordinate with the local authorities. You do not want to break any laws. But yeah, it was at that point in time I realized, why is everyone like so insistent on like this? At that point I mean, it was what, this Strava.
Yeah.
It's like and then after I shared on Strava, I said, oh no, you have to share like this particular thing. So but the interesting part, I learned a lot. Then I have a friend who has actually done ultra marathon. I said, no, this is what you need to do. So I shared everything. He said, oh, but why is this this 3 kilometers like really fast? I said, I didn't switch it off. No, you have to preclude the data. I'm like, how do you preclude the data?
Right.
So I learned everything there and there, but I think in a way it's an eye opener. And now I think I'm much better because of it.
I have to say, I mean, I just observed this happening. I was bemused that people completely lost track of the intention, which was, like I said, to raise the funds for your cause, and got stuck with this data analysis, which I mean, yes, but it's not a race, right? It's the intention of doing something, and you're running for a long time, and people donate, and that's the point. So whether it's in the end, like I said, 160, 200, 300. It's sort of besides the point, but it also shows exactly like you said, like in this community of long distance, people are extremely like
exactly.
It has to be accurate and so on. So okay,
but that was a good lesson for me, though.
Okay, then 7th July, you tried the 113 Desiree, but and the DNF. How was this?
To me, that crisis was much bigger than this one.
Yeah.
And that came 1 week after.
Yes.
I mean, just a little bit of context.